Krishna, where Dishra is asking what is happening, why still Arjuna has not come, all these things is there. And then there are certain symptoms which he is seeing. So going further, 28th verse, disappearance of Lord Krishna, 14th chapter, first canto. कश्चिद् राजाहुको जीवत 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 जीवति जीवत one minute, जीवत्य जीवत्य श्रुतम जीवति कश्चिद् राजाहुको जीवत्य सत्पुत्रोऽस्य चानुजः चानुजः हृदि कः ससुतो क्रूरो जयन्त गदसारणाः आसते कुशलं कश्चिद्ये च कश्चित् ये च शत्रुजितादयः कश्चिदास्ते सुखं रामो भगवान् सात्वतां प्रभु. Mute your phones, whose phone is on? Adi Satwiki Mataji, mute your phone. कश्चित् राजाहुको जीवत्य जीवत्य जीवति जीवति, you can say there. कश्चित् राजाहुको जीवति, then a is taken from there. असत पुत्रोस्य चानुजः. Kashchit, whether Raja the king, Ahukaha, another name of Ugrasen, Ahukaha. Jivati, is Ugrasen still living? Asatya Putraha, means mischievous son, that is Kamsa. Asya cha Anujaha, is his mischievous son Kamsa and his younger brother still living? Then Hridikaha Sasutaha, are Hridika and his son Kritavarma still living? Are Akruraha Jayantaha Gada Sharanaha Shatrujit, are they still living? Then how is Balaram, Rama? How is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the protector of the devotees? You see, very slowly about Krishna is asked. First, here and there, all the information has been asked. But about Lord, he is asking very slowly. Because somewhere in the heart, there is a fear that maybe the Lord has left or what. So that type of fear is there. That is why he is asking very slowly. So here Arjuna has come back and all the information is asking to Arjuna, because the face of Arjuna was very, very pale. So there was a fear in the heart, because Yudhishthira knows Arjuna's happiness lies in Krishna. So when Arjuna is pale, that means something wrong has happened. That is why Balaram and Rama, that has been asked in the last. Okay. Krishna Priya Mataji, read.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Kachid rajahuko jivat asaputrosya anujaha Rudikah susito kruro jayanta gadasaranaha asate kusalam kachit checha setrujidadayaha kachidasthe sukam ramo Bhagavan Satvatam Prabhu. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Our Ugrasena, whose son was the mischievous Kamsa, and his younger brother still living, are Hridika and his son Kritavarma happy, are Akrura, Jayanta, Gada, Sarana and Srutijit all happy, How is Balarama, the personality of Godhead and the protector of devotees, perfect? Hastinapur, the capital of the Pandavas, was situated somewhere near present New Delhi, and the kingdom of Ugrasena was situated in Mathura. While returning to Delhi from Dwaraka, Arjuna must have visited the city of Mathura, and therefore the enquiry about the king of Mathura is valid. Amongst various names of the relatives, the names of Rama or Balarama, eldest brother of Lord Krishna, is added with the words the personality of Godhead. Because of Lord Balarama is the immediate expansion of Vishnu Tattva as the Prakasha Vigraha of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Lord. Although one without a second expands himself as many other living beings, the Vishnu Tattva living being are expansions of the Supreme Lord, and all of them are qualitatively and quantitatively equal with the Lord. But expansions of the Jiva Shakti, the category of the ordinary living beings, are not at all equal with the Lord. One who considers the Jiva Shakti and the Vishnu Tattva to be on equal level is considered a condemned soul of the world. Sri Rama or Balarama is the protector of the devotees of the Lord. Baladeva acts as the spiritual master of all devotees, and by his causeless mercy, fallen souls are delivered. Sri Baladeva appeared as Sri Nityananda Prabhu during the advent of the Lord Chaitanya, and the great Lord Nityananda Prabhu exhibited his causeless mercy by delivering a pair of extremely fallen souls, namely Jagai and Matai. Therefore, it is particularly mentioned here in that Balarama is the protector of the devotees of the Lord. By his divine grace only, one can approach the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, and thus Sri Balarama is the mercy incarnation of the Lord, manifested as the spiritual master, the survivor of the pure devotees. Hare Krishna.
Next verse. So Balaram, who is Balaram? All these things have been given. Anyhow, when we do about the different manifestations, we had done actually. In the Bhagavad Gita, we had done Swayam Prakash, Swayam Rupa, Swayam Prakash, and all these things we have done. Next one. Pradyumnah Sarvavrishninaam Sukamaste Maharatah Gambhira Niruddho Vardhate Bhagavanutah. How is Pradyumna, the great general of Vrishni family? Is he happy? How is Aniruddha, the planetary expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? How are they doing? Are they faring well? So many questions, Jasi. The next verse also will take it. Sushenash Charudeshan Deshnascha Sambo Jambavati Sutah Anye Cha Karshina Pravara Saputra Rushabhadayah. So are the chieftain sons of Lord Krishna like Sushena, Charudeshna, Sambha, the son of Jambavati, Rushabha, along with their sons, are they all doing well? Again, means for the whole family is asked. Okay, these two verses. Neeraj Prabhu, please tell. Please read.
Hey Krishna Mataji, Hari Hari Bol, Dandvat Pranam, Radhe Radhe. Yes. So, I
30,
missed.
31.
What happened to Pradyumna Lakshmina Sukhamaste Maharatha Gambhirayo
Wait.
Nirudyo.
This is not proper. So what you do is you off your video and then read.
Okay, Mataji. Pradyumna Sarva Vrashninam Sukhamaste Maharatha Gambhirayo Nirudyo vardate bhagvanuta. Translations and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. How is Pradyumna, the great general of the Vrishni family? Is he happy? And is Aniruddha, the plenary expansion of the personality of Godhead, faring well? Purport. Pradyumna and Aniruddha are also expansions of the personality of Godhead, and thus they are also Vishnu Tattva. At Dwarika, Lord Vasudeva is engaged in his transcendental pastimes along with his plenary expansions, namely Sankarshana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha, and therefore each and every one of them can be addressed as the personality of Godhead, as it is stated in connection with the name Aniruddha. The next one also, Mataji. Sushena charudeshanascha sambo jamavanti sutta anne chakrarshunir parva saputra rishbh bhadaya. Translation and purport. Are all the chieftains sons of Lord Krishna, such as Sushena, Charudeshna, Samba, the son of Jamvanti, and Rashba, along with their sons, all doing well? Purport. As already mentioned, Lord Krishna married 16,108 wives, and each of them had 10 sons. Therefore, 16,108 multiplied by 10 is 1,61,080 sons. They all grew up, and each of them had as many sons as their father, and the whole aggregate was something nearly 1,610,800 family members of the Lord, which is 16,10,800 family members. The Lord is the father of all living beings, who are countless in number. Therefore, only a few of them are called to associate with the Lord in his transcendental pastimes as the Lord of Dwarika on this earth. It is not astonishing that the Lord maintained a visible family consisting of so many members. It is better to refrain from comparing the Lord's position to ours, and it becomes a simple truth as soon as we understand at least a partial calculation of the Lord's transcendental position. King Yudhishthir, while inquiring about the Lord's sons and grandsons at Dwarika, mentioned only the chieftains amongst them, for it was impossible for him to remember all the names of the Lord's family members. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavats Pranam. Hari Hari Bol.
It has been said chieftains sons. Few names has been told, 1,60,000, then he has to ask everything. So many sons' names. Not easy to remember. Tathaivanuchara shaure Shrutadevodhavadayah Uddhavadayah Sunandananda Shirshanya Ye Chanye Satvatarshavaha Api Swastyasate Sarve Ramakrishna Bhujashrayah Api Smaranti Kushalam Asmakam Baddha Sauhrudaha. Similarly, Anucharaha, constant companion, Shauraha of Lord Krishna, such as Shrutadeva, Uddhavadyaha, Sunandananda, Shirshanya, other leaders, Yecha, all of them, and Anya, others, Satataha, liberated souls, Rishabhaha, the best men, Api, if Swasti, doing well, Asate, are, Sarve, all of them, Rama, Balaram, Krishna, Lord Krishna, Bhuja, Ashraya, under the protection of Api, if also Smaranti, do remember, Kushalam, welfare, Asmakam, about ourselves, Bhatta Shaurataha, bound by eternal friendship. So, are the constant companions of the Lord are protected by Balram and Krishna? Are they doing well in their respective functions? Do they remember us? Because we are bound in friendship. So do they remember us? So in this way, the Dhritarashtra is asking questions to Arjuna. Okay. Vasundhani Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thanks for the service. तथैव अनुचरः सौरेय श्रुत्ता देवोद्धवाध्यः सुनन्दनन्द सौरसेन ये सत्वत्र सभा अपि स्वस्ति असते सर्वे रामकृष्ण भुजाश्रयाः अपि स्मरन्ति कुशालाम् अस्माकं बुद्ध सौहृदा. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Also, Shrutadeva, Uddhava and others, Nanda, Sunanda and other leaders of liberated souls who are constant companions of the Lord are protected by Lord Balrama and Krishna. Are they all doing well in their respective functions? Do they, who are all eternally bound in friendship with us, remember our welfare? Purport. The constant companions of Lord Krishna, such as Uddhava, are all liberated souls, and they descended along with Lord Krishna to this material world to fulfill the mission of the Lord. The Pandavas are also liberated souls who descended along with Lord Krishna to serve him in his transcendental pastimes on this earth. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 4.8, the Lord and his eternal associates, who are also liberated souls like the Lord, come down on this earth at certain intervals. The Lord remembers them all, but his associates, although liberated souls, forget due to their being tatastha shakti or marginal potency of the Lord.
Tatastha.
Tatastha Shakti or marginal potency of the Lord. That is difference between the Vishnu Tattva and Jiva Tattva. The Jiva Tattvas are infinitesimally potential particles of the Lord, and therefore they require the protection of the Lord at all times. And to the eternal servitors of the Lord is pleased to give all protection at all the times. The liberated souls never therefore think themselves as free as the Lord or as powerful as the Lord, but they always seek the protection of the Lord in all circumstances, both in the material world and in the spiritual world. This dependence of the liberated soul is constitutional. For the liberated souls are like sparks of a fire that are able to exhibit the glow of fire along with the fire and not independently. Independently, the glow of the sparks is extinguished, although the quality of fire or the glowing is there. Thus, those who give up protection of the Lord and become so-called lords themselves out of spiritual ignorance come back again to this material world, even after prolonged tapasya of the severest type. That is the verdict of all Vedic literatures. Hare Krishna Mataji.
So long tapasya, the severest type. What is the meaning? So much of pain the person takes because of the spiritual ignorance. He has to come back again.
They have to.
Bhagavan api govindo brahmanyo bhaktavatsala kaschit pure sudharmayam sukhamaste sruhatvarta. Bhagavan api Govinda. Govinda is one who gives happiness to cows and the senses. Brahmanya, devoted to the devotees of the Brahmanas. Bhaktavatsala is so affectionate to the devotees. Kaschid Pure, whether Pure means in Dwarka Puri. Sudharmam in the assembly of the pious people. Whether he's enjoying or not, Sukham Aste, Suratmataha is surrounded by the friends. So is he enjoying the pious assembly at Dwarkapuri surrounded by friends? Okay. Narayan Damodar or Nikhil, anyone of you read? Haribol.
Yes, Mataji. Mataji,
Mm.
I am
Hari.
washing plates, Mataji.
Okay. Jumur will read.
So she is putting Manjari to sleep.
Okay. Vimala read.
Hare Krishna Mataji. भगवान् अपि गोविन्दो ब्रह्मण्यो भक्तवत्सलः कच्चित् पुरे सुधर्माय सुखमास्ते सुधर्वतः. Translation: Is Lord Krishna the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who gives pleasure to the cows, the senses, and the brahmanas, who is very affectionate towards his devotees, enjoying the pious assembly at Dwarkapuri, surrounded by friends? Purport. Here in this particular verse, the Lord is described as Bhagwan, Govind, Brahmanya, and Bhaktavatsal. He is Bhagwan Swayam, or the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, full with all opulences, all power, all knowledge, all beauty, all fame, and all renunciation. No one is equal to or greater than him. He is Govinda because he is the pleasure of the cows and the senses. Those who have purified their senses by the devotional service of the Lord can render unto him real service and thereby derive transcendental pleasure out of such purified senses. Only the impure, conditioned living being cannot derive any pleasure from the senses, but being illusioned by false pleasure of the senses, he becomes servant of the senses. Therefore, we need his protection for our interest. The Lord is the protector of cows and Brahminical culture. A society devoid of cow protection and Brahminical culture is not under the direct protection of the Lord, just as the prisoners in the jail are not under the protection of the king, but under the protection of a severe agent of the king. Without cow protection and cultivation of the Brahminical qualities in human society, at least for a section of the members of the society, no human civilization can prosper at any length. By Brahminical culture, the development of the dormant qualities of goodness, namely truthfulness, equanimity, sense control, forbearance, simplicity, general knowledge, transcendental knowledge, and firm faith in the Vedic wisdom, one can become a Brahman and thus see the Lord as he is. And after surpassing the Brahminical perfection, one has to become a devotee of the Lord so that his loving affection in the form of proprietor, master, friend, son, and lover can be transcendentally achieved. The stage of a devotee, which attracts the transcendental affection of the Lord, does not develop unless one has developed the qualities of a Brahman as above mentioned. The Lord is inclined to a Brahman of quality and not of false prestige. Those who are less than a Brahman by qualification cannot establish any relation with the Lord, just as fire cannot be kindled from the raw earth unless there is wood, although there is a relation between wood and the earth. Since the Lord is all perfect in himself, there could not be any question of his welfare, and Maharaj Yudhishthira refrained from asking this question. He simply inquired about his residential place, Dwarkapuri, where pious men assemble. The Lord stays only where pious men assemble and takes pleasure in their glorifying the supreme truth. Maharaj Yudhishthira was anxious to know about the pious men and their pious acts in the city of Dwarka.
So where there are pious men, Lord stays only where pious men assemble, take pleasure in their glorifying the Supreme Lord. Lord is present everywhere, but his presence is understood by pious people. Understand it very nicely. Samoham sarvabhuteshu. Lord is present everywhere, Lord is equal to everyone. But then Lord's presence is understood. Lord is present as Brahman everywhere. Lord is present as Paramatma in everyone's heart. But Lord as a person is present with the pious people. Okay? Mangalaya cha lokanam, Kshemaya cha bhavaya cha, Aste yadukulabhyo, kulambodha, Atyonanta sakha puman, Yad Yadbahudandaguptayam, Swapuriyam yadavo, Ruchitaha, Kridanti, Paramanandam, Mahapaurushika iva. So Mangalaya, for all good. Cha also, Lokanam, of all the planets. Shemaya, for protection. Cha and Bhavaya, for elevation. Cha also, Aste is there. Yadukula Ambodhav. In the ocean of Yadu dynasty, Adyaha, the original Ananta Sakha, in the company of Ananta Balaram, Puman, the supreme enjoyer, yet whose Bahudanda Uttayam, being protected by his arms, so Puriyam, in his own city, Yadavaham, the members of the Yadu family, Architaha, as deserved, Kridanti are relishing Paramanandam, transcendental pleasure, Mahapaurishikaha, the residents of the spiritual sky, Eva like. So the original personality of God is the enjoyer, and Balram, the prime of Ananta, are staying in the ocean of the Yadu dynasty for the welfare, protection, and general progress of the entire universe. And the members of the Yadu dynasty, being protected by the arms of the Lord, are enjoying life like the residents of the spiritual sky. So Kshemaya cha Bhavaya cha. This we have studied in the first canto also. First canto, previous verses also. Kshemaya cha Bhavaya cha. That means for the protection of everyone, Lord has appeared. And the Yadus have appeared in the family, and they are enjoying like the residents of the spiritual sky, like the Vaikuntha Vasis. So Adi Satviki Mataji, read. Voice not heard. Unmute your phone. Unmute your phone, Mataji. Voice is not heard. I think my voice you are not hearing. Okay. Kusum, read. Kusum.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Mangalaya cha lokanam, Kshemaya cha bhavaya cha, Aste yadu tulambodha, Adyonanta sakha puman, Yadbaho dandaguptayam, Swapuryam yadavodhitaha, Kridanti paramanandam, Mahapaurushika iva. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila
1 minute.
Prabhupada
Adi
ki jai.
Satviki Mataji, your voice was not heard. I was telling you to unmute the phone.
Mataji, Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Can I read?
Now you read the next verse. Let Kusum complete this. Yeah, read Kusum.
Translation. The original personality of Godhead, the enjoyer and Balarama, the primal Lord Ananta, are staying in the ocean of the Yadu dynasty for the welfare, protection, and general progress of the entire universe. And the members of the Yadu dynasty, being protected by the arms of the Lord, are enjoying life like the residents of the spiritual sky. Purport. As we have discussed many times, the personality of Godhead Vishnu resides within each and every universe in two capacities, namely as the Garbhodakshai Vishnu and the Kshirodakshai Vishnu. Kshirodakshai Vishnu. The Kshirodakshai Vishnu has his own planet on the northern top of the universe, and there is a great ocean of milk where the Lord resides on the bed of the Ananta incarnation of Baladeva. Thus, Maharaja Yudhishthira has compared the Yadu dynasty to the ocean of milk and Sri Balarama to the Ananta where Lord Krishna resides. He has compared the citizens of Dwarka to the liberated inhabitants
of the Vaikuntha Lokas. Beyond the material sky, further than we can see with our eyes, and beyond the sevenfold coverings of the universe, there is the casual ocean, and in which all the universes are floating like footballs, and beyond the casual ocean, there is an unlimited span of spiritual sky, generally known as the effulgence of Brahman. Within this effulgence, there are innumerable spiritual planets, and they are known as the Vaikuntha planets. Each and every Vaikuntha planet is many, many times bigger than the biggest universe within the material world, and in each of them, there are innumerable inhabitants who look exactly like Lord Vishnu. These inhabitants are known as the Mahapurushikas, or persons directly engaged in the service of the Lord. They are happy in those planets and are without any kind of misery, and they live perpetually in full youthfulness, enjoying life in full bliss and knowledge without fear of birth, death, old age, or disease, and without the influence of Kala, eternal time. Maharaja Yudhishthira has compared the inhabitants of Dwarka to the Mahapaurishikas of Vaikuntha Loka because they are so happy with the Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita, there are many references to the Vaikuntha Lokas as they are mentioned there as Madhama, or the kingdom of the Lord. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you.
So naturally Lord is there and that place becomes more than Vaikuntha. Okay. Madhama Paramam Mama, Krishna says. Yadapadu Shushrushana Mukhya Karmana Satyadayo Dvayashta Sahasrayoshitaha Nirjitya Sankhe Tridashans Tadasha Tridadansh Tada Shisho Haranti Vajra Yudavallabhochita Yadapad Shushrushana Mukhya Karmana. Let us see. Satyadayo Dvayashta Sahasra Yoshita. So yet whose feet, Shushushana, administration of comforts, Mukhya, the most important, Karmana, by the acts of, Satyadaya, queens headed by Satyabhama, Dvi-ashtaha, twice 8, Sahasra 1,000, Yoshita, the fair sex, Nirjitya, by subduing Sankhe in the battles, Didashan, of the denizens of heaven, Tadashishaha, what is enjoyed by the demigods, Haranti, do take away, Vajra Ayudha Vallabha, the wives of the personality who controls the thunderbolt, Uchita, deserving. So simply by administering comforts at the lotus feet of the Lord is the most important of all services. The queens of Dwarka, headed by Satyabhama, induce the Lord to conquer the demigods. Thus the queens enjoy things which are prerogatives of the wives of the controller of the thunderbolts. So like we know the story of Parijat. So the queens are the power. Satyabhama has the power to make the Lord fight with even the demigods. Just because they're serving at the lotus feet of Krishna, they have the first rights to have Krishna's attention. Okay, now read Satvika Mataji.
Yes, Hare Krishna Mataji. Yat pada sushrusana mukhya karmana satyadaya dyasta sahasra yoshitaha nirjitya sankhe tridasangstadashiso haranti vajrayudha vallabhachitaha. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Simply by administering comforts at the lotus feet of the Lord, which is the most important of all services. The queens at Dwarka, headed by Satyabhama, induced the Lord to conquer the demigods. Thus, the queens enjoy things which are prerogatives of the wives of the controller of thunderbolts. Purport: Satyabhama, one of the principal queens of Lord Sri Krishna at Dwarka. After killing Narakasura, Lord Krishna visited the palace of Narakasura accompanied by Satyabhama. He went to Indraloka also with Satyabhama, and she was received by Sachi Devi, who introduced her to the mother of the demigods, Aditi. Aditi was very much pleased with Satyabhama, and she blessed her with the benediction of permanent youth as long as Lord Krishna remained on the earth. Aditi also took her with her to show her the special prerogatives of the demigods in the heavenly planets. When Satyabhama saw the Parijata flower, she desired to have it in her palace at Dwarka. After that, she came back to Dwarka along with her husband and expressed her willingness to have the Parijat flower at her palace. Satyabhama's palace was especially bedecked with valuable jewels, and even in the hottest season of summer, the inside of the palace remained cool, as if air conditioned. She decorated her palace with various flags, heralding the news of her great husband's presence there. Once, along with her husband, she met Draupadi, and she was anxious to be instructed by Draupadi in the ways and means of pleasing her husband. Draupadi was expert in this affair because she kept 5 husbands, the Pandavas, and all were very much pleased with her. On receipt of Draupadi's instructions, she was very much pleased and offered her good wishes and returned to Dwarka. She was the daughter of Satrajit. After the departure of Lord Krishna, when Arjuna visited Dwarka, all the queens, including Satyabhama and Rukmini, lamented for the Lord with great feeling. At the last stage of her life, she left for the forest to undergo severe penance. Satyabhama instigated her husband to get the Parijata flower from the heavenly planets, and the Lord got it even by force from the demigods, as a common husband secures things to please his wife. As already explained, the Lord had very little to do with so many wives to carry out their orders like an ordinary man. But because the queens accepted the high quality of devotional service, namely administering the Lord all comforts, the Lord played the part of a faithful and complete husband. No earthly creature can expect to have things from heavenly kingdom, especially the Parijata flowers, which are simply to be used by the demigods. But due to their becoming the Lord's faithful wives, all of them enjoyed the special prerogatives of the great wives of the denizens of heaven. In other words, since the Lord is the proprietor of everything within his creation, it is not very astonishing for the queens of Dwarka to have any rare thing from any part of the universe. Thank you very much, Mataji.
Nice way to control the husband, isn't it?
Yes.
You serve the husband, and the husband does what you want, what a lady
Yes.
wants. Mm. So you have to learn something from Bhagavatam also. Service makes even Krishna bind in the heart. You can bind Krishna in the heart just by doing sincere service. And then Lord does what you want. But that is not the mood of a devotee. Devotee loves to serve Lord. But sometimes when devotee wants something, Lord is always eager to fulfill the desires of the devotee. Yadabahudandabhyudayanu jivino yadu pravira yakuto bhayamuho adikramantyangri bhirarutambalat sabham sudarma suratattamochitam yad whose Bahudanda arms, Abhyudaya, influenced by Anujivina, always leaving Yadu, the members of the Yadu dynasty, Praviraha, great heroes, he Akuto Bhaya, fearless in every respect, Muho constantly, Adikramanti, traversing, Angribi by foot, Amritam brought about, Balat by force, Sabham assembly house, Sudharmam, Sudharma, Sura Sattama, the best among the demigods, Uchitam, deserving. So the great heroes of the Hindu dynasty, being protected by the arms of Lord Shri Krishna, always remains fearless in every respect, and therefore their feet trample over the Sudharma assembly house, which the best demigods deserved, but which was taken away from them. The great heroes are always protected, of the dynasty are protected, and their feet trample over the Sudharma assembly. So all these things are expressed by Yudhishthira Maharaj. This is the last verse for today.
Mataji, can I read?
Okay, you can read.
यद्बाहुदण्डाभ्युदयानुजीविनो यदुप्रवीरा यकुतो भयामुः अधिक्रमत्यङ्घ्रिभिराहृतां बलात् सभां सुधर्मां सुरसत्तमोचिताम्. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. The great heroes of the Yadu dynasty, being protected by the arms of Lord Sri Krishna, always remain fearless in every respect, and therefore their feet trample over the Sudharma assembly house, which the best demigods deserved, but which was taken away from them. Those who are directly servitors of the Lord are protected by the Lord from all fearfulness, and they also enjoy the best of things, even if they are forcibly accumulated. The Lord is equal in behavior to all living beings, but he is partial to his pure devotees, being very affectionate towards them. The city of Dwarka was flourishing, being enriched with the best of the things in the material world. The state assembly house is constructed according to the dignity of the particular state. In the heavenly planets, the state assembly house called Sudharma was deserving of the dignity of the best of the demigods. Such an assembly house is never meant for any state of the globe, because the human being on the earth is unable to construct it. However, far a particular state may be materially advanced. But during the time of Lord Krishna's presence on the earth, the members of the Yadu family forcibly brought the celestial assembly house to earth and placed it at Dwarka. They were able to use such force because they were certain of the indulgence and protection of the Supreme Lord Krishna. In other words, the Lord is provided with the best of the things in the universe by his pure devotees. Lord Krishna was provided with all kinds of comforts and facilities available within the universe by the members of the Yadu dynasty. And in return, such servitors of the Lord were protected and fearless. A forgetful, conditioned soul is fearful, but liberated soul is never fearful. Just as a small child completely dependent on the mercy of his father is never fearful of anyone. Fearfulness is a sort of illusion for the living being when he is in slumber and forgetting his eternal relation with the Lord. Since the living being is never to die by his constitution, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 2.20, then what is the cause of fearfulness? A person may be fearful of a tiger in a dream, but another man who is awake by his side sees no tiger there. The tiger is a myth for both of them, namely the person dreaming and the person awake, because actually there is no tiger. But the man forgetful of his awakened life is fearful, whereas the man who has not forgotten his position is not at all fearful. Thus, the members of the Yadu dynasty were fully awake in their service to the Lord, and therefore there was no tiger for them to be afraid of at any time. Even if there were a real tiger, the Lord was there to protect them. Hare Krishna.
So Lord is there to protect. That is why the members of the Edu dynasty, they were always in the service. So they were always fearless. Even if tiger also will come, there also they are fearless. It was given. There was no tiger for them to be afraid at any time. Ugropyanugrahe vayam savaktanam narakesari kesasa potana anyesham ugra vikrama. Lord is always fear. Lord is protecting the devotees. Even if he comes like a tiger or like a lion, see, the devotees are not afraid of him. Like the lion's, what do you call it? Cub, isn't it? The lion's cub. Lion cub is not afraid of the lion, but the lion. So here, the Lord is protecting the devotees, so the devotees are not afraid of anything. Avashya Rakshime Krishna. If devotee is afraid of something, that means he is not having the faith that Lord is protecting him. So that is more important to understand. So Lord is there to protect them. To such an extent, they had the guts also to take the Sudharma assembly to Dwarka. And there is nothing wrong in it. Where Lord is there, the best of the best assembly should be there. So why that assembly should be there is the Swarga. So they brought it to the earthly planet. Actually, that assembly was for the demigods to visit. But Yadus, they thought, where Lord is there, we should also be there. And the assembly also should be there. Okay, so we'll stop here. So any questions? So we'll have the last verses in the next class, the Thursday class. So 15th chapter will be over. So then exam will be there for you. After 15th exam, this is 14th chapter going on now. Next 15th chapter after that exam. So we'll try to do the 15th chapter in August month. Maximum up to September. Because 51 verses are there. Even if we take 7 verses per time, at least 7 to 8 classes are required. So we can finish it off. So
Mataji,
end.
Mataji, August is Janmashtami and Balram, so
We'll try to complete the verses and the exam we can keep in September.
yeah.
We'll
Thank
try
you.
to do some. And even if we take it till September also, not a problem. So then October, November, December, we have to complete some of the whole first canto. So that January we can start with second canto. Okay. So any questions?
Mataji, Pradyumna and Aniruddha are expansion of Krishna. So they can also be addressed as personality of Godhead.
They have come in the form of sons. Bas. They are Panchajanya, then Shankha. So they are all Ayudha actually. Ayudha appearing as Pradyumna, Aniruddha. Like that. They are anyhow all are subservients to Lord. Like Alvars. They are Ayudhas.
But here,
how can you call Ayudha as Supreme Personality of God? But yes, because they are all Vishnu Tattvas. They are all belonging to Lord. They are not addressed Bhagavan, but they are all belonging to Lord.
but they cannot be addressed as Bhagavan.
Okay. Mancha Kalpata Vegesh. Smriti Vaishnavi